Hi, welcome back to Family First. Family First and having safe conversations and conversations about needed topics. I want to start off, by this particular series is going to be about protecting our children, and this is like urgent conversations of safety. I'm not going to pretend that everyone that grew up had someone that they could go to that was responsible. So I'm mostly on here because I was blessed to have parents, a good home, and I recognize that a lot of stuff that we see in society that's being criticized that a lot of young people are doing is because they don't know better. In many instances, it's because they don't know better. They didn't have anyone to teach them. We have a society or a generation where children have raised children. So they've had no one to talk to them about particular subjects and topics. But today I wanted to start a family series called Protecting Our Children, urgent conversation on safety. We are in a time and age where we are hearing about what happened with all of these celebrities like P. Diddy and just if it's not P. Diddy, we're talking about the Epstein instance, or we're talking about people like um, Usher and him and his negative influence or putting other young people in jeopardy. But today I want to what prompted me to want to start this series on having a conversation about protecting our children is so much has occurred in the news within the past week or so about children being abducted, snatched off the street, almost kidnapped, all these different things. And a lot of it is related to people that they know. So in this first episode, we're going to we're going to talk about recognizing hidden dangers in the family. Let's start looking at family dangers. I am sending a message out to parents, fathers, mothers, single parent, married. You need to teach your child boundaries and things to be mindful of, and that's what we're going to discuss today. We are going to be looking at recognizing hidden dangers in the family. Now, there are warning signs of abuse from trusted family members, and we need to be aware of what are some of those things that you will see in people. Okay, specifically, abusers are often close to the family, such as uncles, grandparents, or even siblings. Just heard the most atrocious story on the news about a 13-year-old being left a 7-year-old being left in the care of a 13-year-old with mental health issues. Come on, parents. We got to be more diligent. You know, one of your children is mentally challenged, is difficult for you, and you're going to leave them there with a 7-year-old. Sadly, that 7-year-old was stabbed multiple times by her 13-year-old sibling in regards to some note that was left in the bathroom about flushing the toilet. We have got to be more mindful of protecting our children and keeping them safe. There are dangers in the family, Specifically, as I stated, abusers are often close to the family, such as uncles, grandfathers, or even siblings. And we are to look for signs like unexplained injuries. We need to look at if your child is becoming withdrawn. They have said often if you have a child that's potty trained or has no issues with their bathroom habits, if you notice your child peeing the bed, that's that child trying to go back into in a stage where they're protected, where that person won't be seeing them in the wrong light by touching them and feeling them and doing things to them in ways that are not appropriate. So we have to look at the things like if your child is withdrawing, if you notice that they're fearful of a particular person, don't force your child to be around that person. Please don't think of it, oh, they just got to get used to you. She's shy. Your child is sending you a message that they don't feel safe. Listen, listen. Inappropriate sexual knowledge. If you notice that your child, when you, for their age, is expressing knowledge about sexual things that is inappropriate for their age, you need to start looking at where they could possibly be getting that information. Sudden changes in behavior or mood can tell you if something is occurring. These are specific warning signs of abuse from trusted family members that you need to be aware of. And I don't have to even go into the issue of mothers bringing men into their environment without properly vetting them. That's a whole nother topic. I don't even want to go there. But I do want to say that there's data. The National Children's Advocacy Center says 90% of children who are sexually abused know their abusers. Family members account for 34% of those cases. The second thing we need to be concerned about is creating a culture of open communication with our children. Okay? Make sure that your child knows that they can talk to you about anything without fear of punishment or disbelief. Often mothers are so vested in a man that they're having a relationship with to believe your child would tell you it's abnormal to stay in a relationship where someone is possibly abusing your child. So what do most women do? They act as if their child is making it up. It's not true. And sadly, some mothers know it's true, but have they have more love and affection for the outside companion than they do their own child, which is a very sad scenario. But it's important that we make sure that our children know that they can talk to us about anything without punishment or disbelief, us not believing them. Remember, regular open conversation with your children is what creates trust, which is vital. Because if they encounter unsafe situations where if they express something that you're yelling and screaming, we have to approach these issues in a way where the child knows that we're their advocate and that we're there for them. Okay? And data says that the research from American Psychological Association suggests that open parent and child communication can significantly reduce the risk of children experiencing harm. The third thing we need to do in order to identify hidden dangers in the family is teaching our children boundaries and the concept of safe touch. Teach your children the difference between appropriate and inappropriate touching. Now, a lot of you may have already done this, but I'm mindful and I come on here with the approach that just imagine if there's a child that doesn't have a parent, hasn't had someone there to talk to them and to help them. If they happen on this channel and something's been happening to them, I would hope that they'll gain some information, that they could go and find a safe adult that they can talk to. I want this to be a place where parents can get information to protect their children. And if a child happens up on my channel, they'll be able to know steps to take in order to get the help that they need and protection. Okay? The As I was saying, teaching children the difference between appropriate and inappropriate touching. We need to reinforce that no one, not even family members, has the right to touch them in ways that make them feel uncomfortable. If the child is uncomfortable, the behavior is inappropriate, regardless. If the child is not comfortable, the behavior is inappropriate. The fourth thing I want to talk about, I don't want to come up with so many statistics in the midst of the talk, but I want you to understand that I'm not just talking off the top of my head, that I've done some research and I've looked into these things. And the Child Molestation Research and Prevention Institute states that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before they turn 18. So teaching boundaries reduces this vulnerability. Number 4, how to handle suspicion of abuse within the family. If you suspect abuse, calmly gather information from your child without leading questions. Don't be asking them, this so and so. Just get information from your child. Well, what happened? How is it that you and this person ended up laying on the floor with your clothes off? I learned personally, and that's why I'm on here, is because as a parent and a mother, one of the most rewarding experiences or accomplishments in my life has been being a mother, a parent, and I consider myself a responsible parent. I can remember, you, I didn't even know God was teaching me this because we don't get a handbook to be a parent. We watch our parents do it and they do it as if it's so easy. And it's so intimidating when you don't know what to do as a first time parent. But I remember a situation where a child, one of my son's classmates, came over to spend the night. And, they were going to have a sleepover. I didn't know much. I hadn't vetted his family environment. I knew his mother seemed like a nice, decent young single parent. She was a divorcee and she was young, much younger than me, maybe 10 years younger than me. So I knew she was still out there living her life. And when her little boy came over to spend the night, I don't leave children unsupervised. If they get unsupervised, it's no more than maybe 5 or 10 minutes, long enough for me to go to the kitchen or to check on something. And I happen my son he didn't know to hide stuff. He didn't know. I had left the boys downstairs watching a movie. I come back and the other little boy is about to climb on top of my son. And I said, "What's going on here?" And the little boy said that he was saying, and so I didn't alarm him. I didn't immediately call his mother and make it seem like something horrible. I sat them both down and I told my son, that is not appropriate behavior. You are a young man, he is a young man, and you should not be doing anything relative to you rubbing your penises or doing anything such as that. They hadn't gotten that far, but I had that talk with them. And I asked the little boy, I said, how did you come to want to do that to my son? I said, because my son doesn't know anything about sexual things. How did you learn this? And he said, well, he learned it because his mom had HBO and Cinemax, and he would go into her room and watch it with her, or he would overhear her and her partners having sexual intercourse. And later, I had a talk with the mother and I told her to be mindful of those types of things because, and I shared with her what had happened. Just imagine if I hadn't been there, that one step may have turned into something else. And we don't want our children growing up with the wrong idea. We don't want them being sexually exploited. And as a result of having this talk with this mother, she discovered that her son was being sexually exploited. He wasn't just watching stuff. So when we have these conversations, we're helping each other. Me having that conversation with her helped her to discover that her own brother was sexually assaulting her son. So I just want us to be more mindful. Also, I want to share with you resources for families dealing with internal abuse. There are a list of resources like local advocacy centers, trauma therapists, hotlines. We have the National Child Abuse Hotline. You can call and get information regarding what to do. So I want you all to be encouraged and let's stay mindful of protecting our children. God bless you and have a great day. If you've enjoyed this content, and you feel that it's helped you, I ask that you continue to tune in because we have 8 more episodes in this series of how to recognize dangers in the family. And I just want you to all be encouraged that it's all about our children, it's all about the next generation and properly protecting them. So have a wonderful day, and I look forward to having our next conversation. God bless you.